Hello and welcome to WhyZ, and today we're going to talk about Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2 Episode number 4, and things are getting very exciting. Because this episode legit goes inside the psyche of Eren Yeager after a very long time, and it deals with the stubbornness that Eren has had since the very beginning, and this episode essentially elaborates upon all of these things, including what actually happens to Zeke and what exactly went wrong with Eren Yeager's father, that is Grisha Yeager. Furthermore, as usual, as we expect from Attack on Titan, the twists and turns just keep appearing every now and then, and this episode is exactly like that because we get to see, or at least in the beginning, we get to see the point of view of Eren, which is being showcased to us by none other than Zeke. It's in a manner wherein Zeke is trying to be apologetic to Eren by showcasing him that, alright Eren, calm down, this is not your fault, this is all the fault of our wretched father Grisha Yeager, and it is his ideology which is molding you right now, right here. You do not have to be a slave to him. I totally understand. I am totally sympathetic with you, but I'm just showcasing you the truth here. But of course, in typical Attack on Titan fashion, that is not the truth here. And in fact, Eren Yeager's stubbornness is actually one of the most important key figures here. And I'm just gonna say that Mappa is nailing this out of the park. I've said this before, I've said it in advance, that I'm not really a huge fan of the Attack on Titan ending. I've made numerous different videos talking about all of those things. But here at this moment, I don't even care about all of those things because this is simply Mappa doing the best they can with the provided material, with everything that they have in their reach at this moment, and they are just absolutely nailing it. I know this is not by any standard an adaptation like Kimetsu no Yaiba, like Demon Slayer, but for what it is worth, I really feel that this is absolutely miles better than the adaptation for Season 4 Part 1. The lighting, the storyboarding, the cinematography and everything is just perfect here, and Mappa has legit adapted some of the most important scenes here, some of the most memorable scenes for me personally, involving Eren and his father's moment, and in a way, we have surpassed that moment from the manga. The anime has actually surpassed this moment from the manga because it has added subtle nudges and subtle differences in the actual scene, which overall impacts the quality of this episode and this moment overall, and just makes it that much more enjoyable, or rather that much more effective in a way, and hats off to Mappa for that. But despite all the appreciation for the animation and art style and everything, today is not the episode about that. Today's episode, there's just solely one winner for this episode, and that is the voice acting. I mean, sure, all the regular voice actors have really done a superb job so far, but today's episode, specifically for today's episode, I think there's only one winner, and that is the voice actor of Grisha Yeager, Hiroshi Tsuchida. He is the MVP of this episode, and the entire breakdown of Grisha Yeager's characterization and his breakdown as a character, it has been perfectly humanized, dehumanized and broken down by Hiroshi Tsuchida, and just a massive prop to him. This is the highlight of the scene. I don't even care about the animation at this moment because this voice acting was just... I know I generally don't really talk much about the voice actings here on these reviews, but this is one of those videos or those episodes where I just really need to talk about them. But that's a lot about the preliminary basic stuff. Once again, hello and welcome to WhyZ, and thank you so much for joining in. If you're new here, then please consider subscribing to the channel since I do weekly anime and manga related content along with a bunch of other stuff. With that being said, let's continue with the actual video here. So this episode essentially talks about, or rather adapts, chapter 120 and chapter 121. Now in the previous episode, the last parts of chapter 120 were actually left off, and in a very beautiful manner here in this episode, we have really combined the last half of chapter 120 along with chapter 121, and this has given rise to a cohesive episode that is entirely dealing with the flashback of Eren Yeager, Grisha Yeager and Zeke Yeager. This trifecta just makes everything perfect. It makes a much more cohesive narrative overall. There was a pretty big cliffhanger left behind at the ending of chapter 120, so I do believe that this is a much better way or narrative of storytelling overall, because here we get to see the entire psyche of Eren Yeager and how he has essentially grown as a whole. The episode basically begins by us revisiting the past with Carla, Grisha and a baby Eren. Now here, there's a very subtle nudge here, but it's very, very, very obvious that Zeke is actually very jealous of Eren, because as a kid, Eren actually got the love which Zeke never really got because of the restoration ideologies and everything which happened because of Eldia and Marley. But essentially we start off with the memories here, wherein Zeke is basically telling Eren that, I know Eren, you are just a product of her father's hatred and his wrongdoings. I do not pity you, rather I want to sympathize with you, and that's why I'm showcasing you all of these memories so that you finally understand what I'm trying to actually say here. Now this is really a power of the paths as well as the founding titan. Here some people were actually confused as to what exactly is going on here, whose power are we actually seeing, is this the founding titan or the attack titan? But rather this is actually the powers of the founding titan, specifically in the paths dimension, which is sort of the vessel for the continuity or the essential being of every single Eldian together, and that's why they're able to watch all of these memories at this moment. And this was basically an idea of Zeke, wherein he wanted to showcase Eren all the things which he was misunderstanding here at this moment, and why he wanted to go forward with his own idea of stopping the reproductive cycle of the Eldians once and for all. Keep in mind at this moment that Zeke still has the powers of the founding titan, and if he wanted, he could have just, wished upon these things. But still he pities upon his brother and he wants him to realize this moment. But soon enough the tables actually turn. We actually get to see various different moments from Grisha's life as well as a young Eren Yeager's life. We get to see the incredible and everlasting moments wherein Eren actually targeted the attackers of Mikasa, and how Mikasa came into the life of Eren Yeager and their family. All of those things, including a young Eren's desire for freedom and a young Eren's stubbornness, which is going to be very, 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 very important throughout the entire episode as well as the future of the series. Because slowly throughout this episode, Zeke comes to the realization that no, it's not Grisha Yeager who has manipulated Eren in a way. As a matter of fact, Eren was not manipulated by anyone here at this moment. It was his very nature from the very beginning, his drive towards freedom, his drive to keep moving forward, which is something which we all know, which we have all seen, a very characteristic feature of the Attack Titan, and that is also something which is going to get very, very important later on. But moving forward here, we get to see how Grisha is not actually what Zeke imagined him to be. He is not this ruthless killer who just goes on to destroy the Race family. No, that is not actually the case. In fact, he started, or rather he wanted to do this right from the beginning, but he hesitated and he just went back home. And here at this moment, we get to see the various instances of his life, including Eren's life as well, Eren's life with Mikasa, Eren's life with Eren, and this also gives us a very good monologue by the adult Eren Yeager as well. But finally the moment actually happens after the scene of the basement, where in fact Grisha Yeager sort of believes that he saw an older version of Zeke, because that is also the powers of the Titans, but he just doesn't believe it here at this moment. He moves forward with his plan. He goes to the meeting place the day the walls are to be breached by the Colossal Titan as well as the Armored Titan. Here, while all of these things are happening, he goes to the Reese family and he wants to bargain with them. He essentially wants to bargain the life of his child and his wife, because he doesn't want the alien subjects to die without knowing the truth. Because according to the Reese family, this is a sin of their past. They have to burden it, they have to bear it, and because of this, they cannot let the power of the Titan go into the wrong hands. If the death of the alien subjects is the price that they want to pay, that is fine by them. They are not going to give this power to Grisha Yeager. And even though Grisha Yeager tries or wants to take it by force, he just collapses right at the very last moment. He's like, no, I'm a doctor. I can't do this. I can't just murder innocent children. Even if it comes at the cost of my own philosophies, even if it comes at the cost of my own family. And Zeke is like, this must be a farce, because I know that at this very moment, Grisha Yeager goes on to just destroy this Reese family. And he's totally taken aback by all of these things, and that's when the realization actually dawns upon everyone, because a key factor, a key element or a key fact of the Titans is actually revealed here at this moment, something which the fanbase has sort of thought about for a very long time, but it was actually confirmed here at this moment. Basically, the powers of the 9 Titans are very, very drastically different, and everyone is not aware of the actual powers of these Titans. So one of the most important powers or the features of the Attack Titan, the Shingeki no Kyojin, is the ability to see the future. or showcase the memories of the future. Here in this particular case, Grisha got the memories of the future by Eren. Eren manipulated Grisha here and showcased him the actual future, and this is the reason why he had to take this step. This is the moment wherein he understood that Zeke's plan is not going to pass, Zeke's plan is not going to be fulfilled. It's going to be Eren's motives and Eren's plans which are actually going to be successful, and that's why he had to take this step. But this is something which neither the Reese family knows nor Zeke is aware of. And while all of this is happening, Frida Reis is also continuing her own speech about how the alien subjects have to bear the sins of their past. But this is overwhelming for Eren Yeager, and he burst into anger. This is the stubbornness of Eren which we know, which we have seen so far, and his anger is just out of the charts. This is one of the major reasons why Eren's Attack Titan got a rage transformation in the anime. It's an anime only moment, it's not something which happened in the manga, but it really justifies it. It really makes a lot of sense in my opinion, and that rage is showcased to us again and again and again. Although the moment began when Eren actually kissed the hand of Historia, but it just spirals down. It's a very convoluted thing in a way because obviously time is involved. It involves multiple shenanigans from time travel. It's not technically time travel by the classic definition, but it involves a lot of time shenanigans overall. Because here you have to understand that a teen Eren got the glimpses of the founding Titan's powers after he kissed the hands of Historia. Because of this, he got to see the future memories, and because of this, he also influenced the past memories of Grisha Yeager and influenced him to kill the Reese family. Because here, finally, Eren tells his dad that no matter what the cost is, even if he dies, even if they're all dead after all of this, he has to move forward. He has to keep moving forward. And Zeke realizes the mistake that he has committed here at this moment. He realizes that because he brought Eren back into this particular time frame, it was Eren who motivated Grisha, who just tells Grisha to murder everyone, to get the powers of the founding Titan, so that eventually in the future he also gets the powers of the founding Titan. And basically after this we get some glimpses of the aftermath wherein Grisha has just destroyed the Rodriguez family, or rather Reis family. I wish maybe we could have got some moments here from MAPPA adapting this particular moment, but it didn't really happen much in the manga. We just get glimpses about it, so I'm really fine with that. But beyond this, the breakdown of Grisha Yeager was just absolutely spot on and beautifully done. So that's just 100% amazing in my opinion. Grisha is just broken down. He's an old broken man at this moment who is just overburdened with the responsibility that he had to take. He just killed innocent children by his very own hands. He's a doctor, he's not a murderer. But all of these things are absolutely overbearing for him, and in this maddening moment he finally gets to view this old version of Zeke while he's just screaming that Eren, is this really what you wanted? Eren, is this really what you wanted? And while all of this is happening, he finally says Zeke that I love you my son, I love you my son. And this was such an amazing moment, and once again props to the voice actors here for doing such an amazing job. This was incredibly amazing, and just the memories scene finally comes to an end with Grisha Yeager holding on to Zeke as he's crying vehemently. And when we come back, we are in the past dimension and Eren is just manipulating Zeke here in this moment. This was my plan all along. Eren was just playing a game of 4D chess. Now of course more shenanigans are definitely about to come in the next episode, because I feel like the next episode is going to have that iconic moment from the manga, but let's see what eventually happens, because this chapter, or rather this episode, doesn't exactly adapt the entirety of chapter 121. There's some parts from the ending of chapter 121 which are still left. I believe that it's going to be included as a whole for the next memory scene which is going to come up for the next episode. But anyway, this is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching guys. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more. That's it for today. This is WhyZ and I'll see you all in the next one.